We're hacking into the database and stealing information. That's right, it's The Breach from Ludus Magnus Studio. In this competitive computer clash, players will take on the roles of hackers, attempting to breach the Akab Corporation's secure database. Inside, they'll find a treasure trove of information for the taking, but also a formidable security system and opposing hackers at their digital heels. Once one hacker gathers information equal to their private objective, they win the game. Setup begins with the assignment of the password token. Assign it randomly to one person, or give it to the player who most recently cheated in a video game. I don't know why they'd ever admit that. Then, beginning with that player and proceeding clockwise, each player chooses a breacher, the hacker they'll be portraying in the game. They'll then take the matching 2 malware cards, 1 malware program card, and breacher card. Breacher cards include a breacher name, upgrade bonuses, and breacher cheats. Then, in reverse turn order, beginning with the last player, each will choose an avatar, their digital representation, and take the matching avatar sheet, avatar model, 6 malware cards, and 1 malware program card. The avatar sheet contains boxes for movement, cache, evasion, and attacks, as well as additional upgrade bonuses. More on all those shortly. The player's total of 10 starting malware cards represent their code and software used in advanced hacking. Each has a name, timing window, effect box, and the owner of the card. They also come in 3 types: tactic, which are discarded immediately after use, mission, which can only be played when the listed condition is met, and program, which are activated by using cheats installed on the interface. These are turned over after use, revealing a new program. Next, set up each player's interface by choosing a color and taking the matching 8 virus markers. Place the model in the base and set them on the reconnection space of the interface. Each player also takes 6 clear upgrade cubes and places them in the upgrade slots along the top of the interface. Take the 2 malware program cards and place them back to back in the program slot of the interface. Whichever side is face up will be active at the start of the game. Shuffle the remaining 8 malware cards into a draw deck placed next to the interface. The back side of each avatar sheet contains a list of starting equipment represented by colored cubes and a number of malware cards. Each player takes their starting equipment, setting the cubes in the boxes matching their color. Note that black is considered wild and thus can be any color of the player's choice when selecting. They also draw the listed number of malware cards into their hand and set their avatar sheet and breacher card into their respective slots. Finally, each player receives a face-down objective card, which only they may peek at. Next, set up the database. Depending on the number of players in the game, consult page 12 of the rulebook for room tile layout. We're setting up for a 4-player game today, so we'll set the tiles and matching information tokens as indicated. Then, set the gate tokens in the 4 corners of the database as shown. Next, set up the firewall. Place the 3 deployment tracks on their respective slots of the firewall board. For your first few games, have these white side up. Increase the difficulty in future games by using the red sides of various tracks. Select an ICE model for each of the 3 categories: bot, seeker, and guardian, and set them near the database. Then set the blue deploy ICE cubes on the ICE icon of each track. Set the firewall strength die with the 1 face up on the die slot. Create the activation deck by selecting bot and seeker cards with the highlighted LED slots on their top right equal to your player count. For instance, this card has its 4th LED lit, so we'll include it. Shuffle the deck and place it next to the board. Set the Guardian sheet near the firewall board and create a Guardian activation deck using the same LED light process. Shuffle them and set them face down on the Guardian sheet with the Guardian description card going face down on top of the deck. Then place the other description cards into their slots. Finally, shuffle the reward cards and reveal 4 into their respective spaces on the left of the firewall board. Form a supply of reward tokens and face-down research tokens. Then shuffle the breach cards to form a face-down deck nearby. Gameplay occurs in rounds, each divided into 2 turns, the Breacher's Turn and the Firewall Turn. Rounds continue until one player reaches their objective during their turn, immediately ending the game. The objective cards determine the information the player must have on their hard disk to win the game. Let's look at the turns. During the Breacher's Turn, starting with the holder of the password token, each player will proceed through 2 phases, the action phase and the net phase. Once a player completes both, play will pass to the next player. Once all players have taken both phases, play moves to the Firewall Turn before the next round begins. During the action phase, the active player may take a number of actions equal to the clicks on their interface. Players start the game with 2 clicks. Actions include move, attack, screen, infect, upgrade, configure, and disconnect. Each of these also has an associated symbol. Note that the first 3 of these, move, attack, and screen, match the boxes on the interface. These are skills, and the value of the associated skill is equal to the value of cubes inside. 2 points for cubes matching their box's color, and 1 point for each cube of a different color. The cubes in the cache box have no value. When taking any of these actions, the active player must move a cube of a color from the box of the same color to the next box following the connecting arrows. If no cubes of the matching color are in that box, they cannot take that action. Let's look at some of the actions. Move allows the player to first calculate their move value based on the cubes in the box, then move 1 yellow cube from the yellow box. They may then use those movement points to move their avatar on the database, reveal rooms, and activate room effects. On a player's first turn, they must start in one of the rooms adjacent to a gate. To reveal a room, they pay movement points equal to the link on their current room. They may then flip a face-down or blacked out room and set it in any orientation. To move their avatar between those rooms, they must also pay movement points equal to the sum of symbols in the newly opened connection. Newly revealed rooms also receive a number of research tokens on their research spaces, if any. Some rooms have an effect that a player may activate using movement points, provided a research token is available. Attack allows the player or ICE to send viruses at their opponents in the same room. They first calculate the attack value, then move a red cube from the red box. Again, if there aren't any red cubes in the red box, they can't take this action. Before resolving the attack, the attacking player chooses to use 1 or more malware cards or research tokens. If the target is an avatar, they may play cards and tokens as well. Players continue in this process until both choose not to play additional cards or tokens consecutively. The attack is then resolved by comparing the attack value against the target's evasion value. If the attack is less than the evasion, it deals 1 virus to the target. If the attack is more than the evasion, it deals 2 viruses to the target. If the attack is exactly equal to or more than double the evasion, it deals 3 viruses. If a target's evasion is 0, the attack also deals 3 viruses. Avatars track viruses on their board. The 3rd virus will disconnect an avatar, returning them to the reconnection area of their interface. Avatars may always attempt to evade when attacked by moving a blue cube from the blue box. They can ignore 1 virus per attack. ICE track virus tokens next to their model. If ICE are not defeated by hitting their maximum amount by the end of the turn, the viruses are returned to the supply. When they are defeated, the player gains rewards tokens as listed on the ICE's card. When an avatar is disconnected, any other players who have assigned at least 1 virus can choose to copy 1 information, earning a partial information token matching a type on their victim's hard drive. Or obtain 2 reward tokens, which can be used to access the reward cards. Reconnecting to the database takes 1 click, removing their viruses and resetting the threat level to 0. Screen. This action allows the player to move a blue cube from the blue box and assign a screened token to their avatar. They gain a number of benefits, including ignoring the first virus in an attack, ignoring threat-increasing effects, and ignoring the traits of ice. They keep the screen token on the avatar until it resolves a move or attack action. Configure allows the player to either draw one malware card from their deck or perform 2 pushes. For each push, the player may choose any cube on their avatar sheet and move it along the arrows. Infect allows the avatar to infect their room with a virus, provided no ice are present. This is the main way to gain information in the database. They roll the infection die and resolve the effects. This may include a successful virus placement, advancement on the deployment tracks of the ice, or even an increase in the player's threat level. See page 19 of the rules for specifics. Upgrade allows the breacher to power their interface by moving an upgrade cube from the top area slot into one of the 4 cheat slots in the lower area. Each top area slot has an effect and possibly a cost, which occurs immediately. Upgrades include drawing malware cards, earning more cubes, or a multitude of unique options for each interface. Disconnect is an action that allows players to pull out of the database, returning to their reconnection space on their board. While here, they can't be targeted by game effects. Pretty sweet. Okay, that's the actions. Let's take a look at the net phase. During this time, the active player first performs a configuration and then may steal information. The amount of configurations is equal to the furthest obtained space under their clicks. Information earned during the game will increase the value of clicks and configurations. Then, when stealing information, a player must have virus tokens around the information token, 2 for a partial information token, and 4 for whole information. They remove the viruses and take the information, adding it to their hard drive. They set one of their viruses on the information node to track it for game effects. Once all players have taken their 2 phases, play proceeds to the Firewall Turn, where the defenses of the database attempt to stop the breachers. First, the player with the password passes it to the player on their left. Then, in turn order, each player with an avatar in the database draws and resolves an activation card from the ice. Activation cards include a model, which the player may choose among all models of that type in the database to activate, and a number of subroutines. Each subroutine is optional, but must be resolved from top to bottom. After the subroutines are resolved or skipped, the player advances the deployment track of that ice type a number of spaces listed on the bottom of the card. The deployment tracks have a number of effects that occur when the cube breaches them, including deployment of new models into the database, threat increases, and firewall strength increases. Additionally, the firewall applies to the strength values of the ice's attack and evasion stats, so you don't want to let it get too high. And that's the end of a round. A new round of player turns begins, starting with the new password holder. Here's a brief summary of some other important concepts in the game. Threat. Various game effects increase the threat level of avatars. This is tracked with a virus token, starting on the 1 space, then moving to the 2 space. If a 3rd threat would be assigned, the virus token is removed from this space and they receive a virus from the firewall. Cheat. These free actions can be used at any time if an upgrade cube has filled its slot. These might include moving ice, activating the malware program card, or some unique breacher effect. See pages 28 and 29 for more details. Breaches. These cards create new openings between rooms and modify the movement requirements for passage. See page 29 for all the types. Gameplay continues with players breaching rooms, stealing information, and fighting ice. Once a player completes their objective by acquiring the information listed on their objective card, they win the game. And that's the basics of The Breach by Ludus Magnus Studio. For more details on the fearsome guardians, room effects, and of course cheating, check out all the info by following the link in our description below. I'm Becca Scott, this is Good Time Society, and remember, don't go breaching where you can't handle the information. We'll see you next time!